Alright everyone, welcome back to the Mysteries of Hyrule, Part 2! We have a part now.
Yay, our first double part episode.
Yeah, so we're coming back to picking up the pieces of the Breath of the Wild, so today we're going to go with the theories that we didn't get to last time, because last time was a long episode. This one will probably be long too, actually. So, why don't you pick up where we left off, Devon?
Alright, one of the things that stands out most in Breath of the Wild compared to other Zelda games is Link's tunic. And this has been something that people have been speculating over since its initial announcement back, like, I don't know, was it 2 years ago? 4 years ago? I don't even remember. It's been a while. But some theories for where the green tunic could come in is it could be a possible reward for completing all 100 shrines, because we do know there are 100 shrines in Breath of the Wild. The Treehouse people did say that completing all the shrines would give you something good that fans would love. However, it sounds like the Treehouse fans know what the prize is, but Miyamoto, when asked about it, said he doesn't know if it's even in the game, and that's Miyamoto. I guess once you get the green tunic, if it's even in the game, it would kind of be like the Hylian Shield and Skyward Sword, where you get it late game, but it's like the best thing in the game. The Hylian Shield is the best shield in the game. The green tunic would be like the best tunic. It could have like protection against the environments, so you don't have to just keep eating spicy foods or wearing a big coat when running around in the snow. So we really don't know if the green tunic's going to be in the game or where it's going to pop up. But for now, I guess all we can do is just wait for more stuff to nitpick and keep scouring the internet for rumors. Alright, we're also going to talk about a couple theories on who the old man seen in the game is, who kind of guides Link throughout his quest. So, if you want to take the first old man theory,
yeah, sure.
You can take whatever one you want.
So the first one has to do with great beards. And we are going to say that King Daphne's has a great beard. In fact, it looks quite a lot like the great beard that we see on the old man. And he also is assisting our good Breath of the Wild man, which would also, which is what he did for the Hero of the Winds as well. So, wind, breath, sounds pretty alike. I'll help both of them.
Yeah. What is this going to be? The Hero of the Wild or something? I could bet that he's going to be called the Hero of the Wild or something.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Another thing about the old man is that his nose looks just like King Daphne's No Hands in Hyrule's nose. I specifically noticed that their noses are identical. Another theory for who this old man could be is Link. Not the Link that we know, but a different Link. Well, actually, maybe not. You see, Link wakes up 100 years after going to sleep. And according to Zelda logic, he deserves to go back to his own time. Because, Zelda in Ocarina of Time just sends Link back after his quest, even though that's probably the worst idea ever. It's kind of like Impa in Skyward Sword, who comes forward in time, does some heroism, then goes back to her own time. Well, if Link grows old in this game, it's impossible that someone, Zelda, could just toss him back in time and he'll get older and older and eventually be the old man who helps himself. It's also possible that it could be just a different Link, the Hero of Wind or the Hero of Trains or the Hero of Twilight, depending on when this game took place. And one of those heroes might just grow old and help the next hero, similar to the Hero Shade in Twilight Princess. What do you think on that?
It's totally possible. I mean, we're going back to time travel things here, but we're not sure which one they're using. I suppose this would be Stax, which would go with the fact that Impa knows how to activate the Gate of Time, which would say that the Sheikah know how to do time travel that goes through the Stax way of doing things, but it also goes through the it already happened as well. So, I'm not sure how that would work if you go back in time to yourself. We never got to see that. So, it's plausible.
I hope this is the case. It's probably not going to be, but hey, it'd be awesome if it was, because I love the Hero Shade, one of my favorite Twilight Princess characters.
I mean, it could be like Everland 2, where it's your rival that you don't even remember, and then
you always bring up. My head hurts more when you talk about that game.
It's Mido. Mido's actually a Hylian too.
Alright, you take the next theory.
Alright, so this one is more bizarre, but it's also plausible. It's the old man is Ganondorf. Because they sound similar. I didn't get to hear them much, but that's what I've heard. I've heard that they sound the same.
They have similar voices. You've heard they have similar voices.
Yeah, I've heard that I've heard from people that heard it or something.
I think they have similar noses. And much like King Daphne's nose. King Daphne's and Ganon share a nose. Maybe they have a common ancestor.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure that's what Zelda Universe is going through for in their movie. I selected the same
Yeah.
actor for both of them. Anyway, but besides the point, it could be like Ganondorf separated himself from Ganon, or he's working with both at the same time. He could have like become super master of his powers and be like, check this out, I could be a beast and a Gerudo at the same time. And then he takes everyone out. There's also the fact that that Ganondorf himself is sealed, so the Ganon that could have escaped and gone and nuke everything, except for then we don't know how he got out to be the old man. And then he could be using Link to regain his Ganon powers that got shut down before. He's like, oh yeah, they beat the Ganon, what's it called? The Ganon catastrophe? I don't even remember right now.
Calamity Ganon.
Calamity. The Ganon Calamity. It's like, oh yeah, this thing called Ganon Calamity happened.
Calamity Ganon.
It was bad. They stopped him though, so we should go like turn on these towers. Is basically what he like.
Yeah. So you could be being played. Just know that when you play through.
Plot twist.
I mean, they did say that you can just go and defeat the final boss at the very beginning of the game, so maybe you should do that and not get played. Like Bravely Default.
Well, that wouldn't. The end goal is to kill that boss, though. So is the Master Sword in there? No, it can't be. You have to have it before then.
Sure, it could be. I mean, if it's post Wind Waker timeline, then the Master Sword is stuck in Ganon's head, and maybe this other old man is trying to get you to pull the Master Sword out of Ganon's head.
Yeah. Also, we're going to come to that at the end of the episode. We're going to focus on the old man for a bit now, but it does lead into some theories about that Master Sword.
Alright. Another theory on who the old man could be is that the old man could be the old man from Zelda 1, because obviously that old man is the best old man in any video game ever. When you say old man, that is the old man. This is probably the most likely scenario, to be honest. I don't expect some big Ganon plot twist, although their noses are quite very similar. I don't know, those noses, Fireally. It's got me thinking.
Those noses.
Alright, before we move on, there's a couple more topics we want to touch on. We're going to talk about the Guardians for a minute. Fireally, why don't you take this theory on the Guardians?
You had like a one-sentence thing before this. You can take it. Unless you want to take our theory after this.
I'll take the one after it.
Alright, so the Sheikah built the Guardians. I mean, they kind of have it written all over them, semi-literally and also kind of figuratively. They have similar designs to the room that Link wakes up in. They're all blue. They're got glowy. Yay. Apparently, pink is evil too. The shrines are confirmed to be built by the Sheikah, and you can find miniature guardians through this. So if it's in these little shrines, who's to say the Sheikah didn't make a giant one? Isn't that the name of the final boss too, the Guardian?
The Guardian? Well, it's not the final boss. We don't know. The final boss is Calamity Ganon, supposedly.
Well,
but there's
the giant thing that we see running around. I'm pretty sure its name is the Guardian. I could be wrong though.
There are many Guardians you could have fought in the E3 demo, actually.
It could be a giant, like, hybrid of them all. I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves again.
I think there was actually rumors that people saw a giant Guardian climbing around Death Mountain in the demo, in the distance.
Yep, more pieces that we can't confirm nor deny.
Yeah, I want that demo.
We can also, there's also the theory that the giant thing that we're seeing running around for the E3 trailer is a Guardian gone haywire, or it got taken control of either Demise's power, or Ganondorf's power, or maybe somebody new's power. We're not exactly sure here. We just know that it's not on your side, and it was probably made by the Sheikah. Well,
I'm going to bring up this last bit of evidence, because it leads into our next theory.
Alright.
Now, there's this theory that the Great Plateau is Hyrule Castle Town. The old man describes it as the birthplace of the Kingdom of Hyrule, and there are ruins found on the Great Plateau that resemble structures seen in Ocarina of Time. I'll put a link in the description to a video that describes it in greater detail. But the reason Hyrule Castle Town is destroyed, most likely, is because Ganondorf likely turned, or whoever, once again, likely turned the Guardians to his side and just laid waste to the area. It's a total apocalyptic siege. We're gonna go destroy Castle Town. Go get him, Guardians, because I hacked you or something. Maybe Ganon's a hacker in this one. He's sitting on his computer hacking the Guardians.
I'm trying to picture a
There's lots of technology in this game. Link's got a tablet by the name of the Sheikah Slate. Ganon is going to have a computer to hack Guardians with.
I mean, they did say they wanted to focus on a technology piece.
All right, next we're going to talk about another hot topic, and that is the voice actor.
Open your eyes.
You see, what made me jump out of my seat in the E3 footage is that there's voice acting in this game. There is a girl telling you to open your eyes. She wakes you up, and it's the first word spoken to Link as he wakes up in the shrine.
That is a Sheikah Slate.
The voice explains the Sheikah Slate to him and sends him off on his adventure. When the voice later speaks to him, Link looks at his Sheikah Slate, so it's safe to assume that that's where the voice is coming from. So I guess this is more of a phone than a tablet. Sheikah phone. I would buy a phone case if it looked like that. Now, we could talk about who this voice is, but I have a theory and Fireally has a theory. So, Fireally, what's your theory on who this voice is?
My theory is kind of Fi, and I know and I know her name is pronounced Fi, but if you wanted me to pronounce it Fi, you would have stuffed an A in there like how we call Kai. Sorry, I had to get on my high horse there for a second because other people would too. But anyway, Fi slash Fi, she could be calling out to Link again because, you know, he's asleep, only this time it's really long. She thought it was long before, but she was totally wrong. And so, it's 100 years of sleeping, so she is calling out to him because she is falling apart. Like, the status of the Master Sword has gotten so bad that Fi is using the Sheikah technology that she recognized and analyzed from Skyward Sword. Whether this is before then, no matter how far before this Skyward Sword is, she's recalling that data, and she is using it to call to Link through the Sheikah technology. She might have even activated the process to get him out. We're not sure here.
You know, with the Master Swords all rusty, Fi must be on the brink of death.
Before it's too late.
Exactly, which is why I'm saying that she had to have woken up. You usually do that. It's like, I'm dying.
Yeah, on the brink of the death. Well, I have a counter argument, because there is a certain song that you can barely hear in the background of the trailer when the voice is speaking, and that is the famous Zelda's Lullaby. So I say this voice can only be Zelda. Zelda is known for waking up Link when he sleeps in. She does it in, what is it called? A Link to the Past with her telepathy. She does it in Skyward Sword with her loft-wing bird.
Well, Fi tried, and then Zelda finished the job.
Yeah, Fi wasn't strong enough to wake Link up. You gotta really tussle that guy.
Maybe that's why it took 100 years.
Yeah, they were shouting at him for 100 years. Get up, child!
I'm dying! Get up already!
It wasn't supposed to be 100 years. That's just how long it took Link to get out of bed.
Link, you are the light. Our light. That must shine upon Hyrule once again. Now go.
Alright, so now we have the theory that we've been building up to, and we're going to talk about why this Master Sword is all rusty. So, what's interesting is that in Twilight Princess, the sword is kept in the open woods. The winds, the rain, the sleet, the snow, all could get to that sword, and it did nothing to rust this thing. So why in Breath of the Wild is this thing in pieces? Not pieces, but tatters, shambles. I don't know what you want to say.
Yeah, once again, lead in from my Fi theory.
So, the Master Sword could be the thing that sealed Calamity Ganon in Hyrule Castle. I mean, it's like that in Wind Waker, and this is on the Wind Waker timeline.
And Skyward Sword.
It does that in Skyward Sword. It does it. There's a lot of games where the Master Sword is the seal that holds Ganon, or in this case, Calamity Ganon. I don't know what the Calamity means. Is this like
it's shown as
Super
a cloud,
Ganon,
so
Ganon's final form?
I mean, it's shown as a giant cloud. That's all we really know. Granted, he's usually known as the spooky eyes in the legends we hear in the prologues, but this time he was a giant Cloud, like when he comes up to Zan.
Is this like Ganon with a power star or something? I don't know what Calamity Ganon
It's
is.
possible Cloud version of Ganon just might be Calamity Ganon. He's the guy
Yeah.
who talks to our good friend Zan. Calamity Ganon.
Hey, hold up. This game is called Breath of the Wild, and that is a direct reference to Ganon's bad breath forming Calamity Ganon. One of the theories that we found is since the Master Sword could be the thing that sealed Ganon in Hyrule Castle, that Ganon's power is breaking down the sword, and it's like cracking it, rusting it, taking it down.
Of course, the counter theory to this is it's never happened before. We don't have a confirmed time of like full on 100 years, but quite a bit changes and between games, so it's very hard to say that, particularly since the Master Sword has always been like the big solution.
Yeah, it's kind of like the, I don't know, what do you call it? The attack checks and balances for the Triforce.
Yeah, that was a theory that you came up with that pretty much shattered that Hyrule Academy, because it is the only thing that you can really see that actually does go against the Triforce that can also work with it at the same time.
Yeah, I want to see the Minish Cap versus the Triforce, because those are both wish-granting items. Which one's stronger?
Probably the Triforce, because you can make a bunch more of them.
Well, I'd assume so. But I mean, what's the limit of a wish on either side? Hard to say. But one way the Master Sword could be rusted is this: if this were in the adult timeline and the ocean had drained, well, that would mean that the Master Sword was at the bottom of the ocean. Therefore wet. Therefore rust. But that one's boring compared to the Ganon theory, so I'm hoping for the Ganon theory.
Right, so these last two I kind of came up with. There might be similar ones that you've heard, but this is just kind of what came out of my head. So, the Master Sword, we see it kind of going in phases of having more power and having less power throughout the games. Maxed out Skyward Sword, kind of off guard in the Wind Waker. But there's always got this kind of period of it can repel evil. Now it can't. Now it's absorbing the sun. So essentially, the idea is that the Master Sword kind of gains its power from like light. It's the blade of evil's bane. It's always been shown in the light. So it's like the righteousness of the people, or the prayers of the people, or light itself, or special like holy magic, whatever. These things charge the Master Sword. It gives it the power to repel evil. Now, it is totally drained here. It is dying. With the rust on the sword, there is no way. It has lost its charge completely. We thought it was bad in the Wind Waker, but the Wind Waker still had a shaft of light to keep it, kind of alive. And while you do see light coming on it here, the light does kind of look sinister. Something has happened to the Master Sword here. So, it could have been at the bottom of the ocean. No light. Uh-oh. Charges out.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Battery's dead.
Battery's dead. Ganon's out. Run. There's also another theory that it could have sealed Calamity Ganon and Ganon, so his bad breath came out. We just put his breath back in the bottle, and now it's rusting the blade because there's not enough charge to keep both of them contained, or whatever happened in that time just could have started putting wear and tear on it. And then this one goes to the Skyward Sword one that I also came up with. It's that the power of demise has a rebirth like Calamity Ganon. Might have been a separate entity made from the evil of demise, gave up on Ganon for a little bit. And so it works to destroy the world, messing with Sheikah technology and causing all the problems that you have to deal with in the game. And because the world itself is kind of falling apart, or because Demise is awakening himself, the Demise dust in the sword begins to start destroying it from the inside, which is kind of what I talked about a little bit in the last sword with Dark Link. These could be connected. So it starts destroying it from the inside. This is why Fi would wake up, because something is actually attacking her. Nothing has attacked her before, unless we're talking Hyrule War. But so something is attacking her. This wakes her up, and so she starts doing what she can to call out. And while this is happening, the blade is rusting, and it's either rusting because it's dying, or because the Demise dust is coming out. Like you see a Link kind of activate vacuum cleaner mode. It's possible that it's kind of coming out like as a solid thing or as like moss or something or sludge. We're not really sure. We just assume it's rust. But essentially this stuff is coming out and eventually it's going to reform Demise.
I have another theory. Maybe Calamity Ganon. Ganon's bad breath itself is the thing that's rusting the Master Sword. No substance is more destructive than the breath of Ganon.
His
All
bad
right.
breath made the breath that made the wild that used to be tame.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of theories that we went over on Breath of the Wild, and we're super excited for when the game will come out to see if we might have been right. We're gonna roll the dice, see if we're gonna be right.
Yeah.
I got money on that old man's nose. So, goodbye, everybody.
Alright, thank you guys for watching our little cleanup act of the Breath of the Wild theories that have been floating around. And we will see you guys in the next episode. See you next time.